My name is Tylluan. I'm a solitary pagan witch, I'm an author and the founder of the Wolf and Howl Press. Today's little talk doesn't feel much like daytime, but it is. Today's little talk is about rituals and how we put them into our Book of Shadows or magical journal. Now, I prefer the term magical journal, but I know other people have all sorts of names, so that's up to you. I think sometimes we make the mistake of feeling we must put a detailed ritual into our magical journal, and that isn't actually true. I think what we need to begin with is to write out what is a ritual. Now, you might think, well, of course I know what a ritual is. Well, it's like a lot of things, you know, you ask someone to define what energy is, and it's quite a tricky one. It's very simple, everybody thinks they know what it means. But when it comes to defining it, it's much more complex. And this is the same with rituals. So we're just going to have a quick look at that today. When we talk about rituals, rituals are markers, if you like. They mark what we do, they mark what we are, they mark what we hope for, and they mark what has happened. So, for example, Jews remember having to leave Egypt in a hurry, don't they, with the Passover, with the bitter herbs and things like that. Christians remember, Jesus being born, they say, in a manger on Christmas Day. It's something which has been passed. And we can remember things that are passed in our lives. We don't have a set book. We don't have a set tradition. And I think it's rather nice that we don't really. So you can have a ritual of your own you could write. The ritual of when I came to this house, let's mark that. It's a good one. The ritual of when my children were born, birthdays, very good one. And I think we start, first of all, by getting a nice blank page in our book and writing down what rituals would we mark that belong to the past. So things like the day someone is born, which belongs to the past, and the present birthdays. But of course you can mark the birthday of someone who has died. So for example, I would mark the birthday of my father, something like that. And you remember it, and maybe you do a little prayer, a little thought, a little exercise, something that you do that marks it and makes it just a bit special. Doesn't mean you have to go mad and put up balloons or banners, just something special. If you say, what do we mark in the present? Well, usually we mark the seasons, don't we? That's the most common one for pagans to mark. You mark what is often called the wheel of the year, but I mean, there is no reason you shouldn't put other things in. You know, there are lots and lots of different dates you could put in if they suit you. So I would mark in what those are. And then there are the sort of the special rituals, the things like healing rituals, rituals of hand fasting, rituals of someone having died and you're doing a funeral. All these things, we can do them. We can do them for ourselves. There's no set ritual we have to follow. And it's only limited by our own imaginations. And that's really important. So I would say begin by listing them. Don't worry about writing them out yet. List them. What sort of things? And of course you'll be adding to this for years to come because you'll find lots of other things you want to mark. And then you can stop and you can think to yourself, well, how will I mark this ritual? How will I do it? Well, you could write a line, couldn't you? A line or two. Today is the day I mark whatever it is, and then whatever you want to say about it. It doesn't have to rhyme. Today is the day I mark moving to this house. A wonderful day that will be long remembered, even after we've left this house. We will always remember it deep within. Something like that. Doesn't even have to be particularly inspiring, but you do have to feel it, have to mean it. That's obvious. How else can you mark it? Well, you can mark it with things. You can mark it with lighting a candle. Now, be realistic. If you are going to be in and out all day, do not light a big candle like that one. Light something small. And if you're very busy and can't keep an eye on it, light a birthday candle, which will burn out even quicker than a tea light. Be sensible, be safe, because these things are dangerous. And they're not meant to be left on their own. In fact, it was at one time regarded as extremely unlucky to let a candle go out in a room on its own. It was said to be lonely. It needed company. So I think that's rather nice to remember. Apart from safety, the candle's lonely, so that's quite good. What else do we have? Healing rituals. Well, what are you going to do? Cleansing, protection, all these little things, and then you get each one and you start to work on it. And you write down things that you've done, things you think might work, things you think would be nice to do. It doesn't mean you have to do the entire ritual every time, so don't make it too complicated. That's another big mistake that people often make when they're starting out. They really think they've got to write pages and pages. And do you know why you don't? Because you won't do it. Chances are, when you need to do it, you won't have the time. So do something short and sweet. Keep it sensible. Just something sweet that you can do. And then you will do it. What other sort of rituals? Well, you have the more formal ones that you get a bit of notice of, like a hand fasting. And you can really go to town on that, but provided you've been asked to. I mean, don't move in and try and hijack the whole thing. But you can do short blessings, things like that. You can bless the rings they're going to use. You can bless their lives. You can have an ending blessing, introductory blessing, anything. Just something nice. I've had people often use my verses and that for hand fasting blessings. And I think it's wonderful. I'm so touched. It's lovely. Don't feel that your Book of Shadows or your magical journal has to be the last word on a subject. You will have many of these books on your path. They are not going to look all fancy like the one in Charmed. Most times they will look quite messy. Believe you me, they will. If they're anything like mine, they will. But don't cross anything out with indelible ink. Always leave it that you can come back to it, because you never know when you'll need it again. And as I say, write your rituals down. Write down what you could do rituals for. And then very, very gradually start to fill up your book. And you'll get a complete collection. And when you do, that's the time to go for a very special Book of Shadows, if that's what you want, a very special ritual book. And you can write them all up, or type them up, or print them out, or what have you, and make them look really beautiful. Then you can do it. But at the beginning, don't even try. Have fun with it. Throw yourself into it. Become the witch you were always meant to be. Anyway, I think that's quite enough of me rabbiting. So thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.